TV.
Very beautiful to have a glance at you, my good brother, Stephen Mbide. Hope you're doing well this beautiful Wednesday morning. Yes, it was acquainting you with the latest as far as traffic is concerned. Please, before you leave your humble abode, ensure that you are, yes, heavily armed with at least 2 face masks. Yes, if one, something happens, you drop it somewhere, you still have another one. And you won't be getting any problems, not from security, but from the novel coronavirus disease itself. You need to be masking up to ensure that you protect the people you left at home. Not only for them to get infected, you're not avoiding infections. You are actually avoiding another lockdown. You are avoiding a third wave of the COVID-19 pandemic that will stop you from working and will stop you from actually taking care of the people you left home. That's why I'm talking too much about the people being protected in the home settings. Not only the infections, but the lockdown if it is called. Remember how we grappled during the lockdown? Yes. But then what we do know also is that during the lockdown, the proverbial financial mask was mobile money. We saw so many transactions actually being executed on mobile money. Also for the circles and saving groups also took advantage of that. I do have Gerard Otim from the CEO of Nsibuko, who is going to be talking to us about financial inclusion. Many Ugandans were financially included using mobile money. How right was it? Gerard Otim is here to acquaint us with that and a lot more. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Romeo.
Indeed. How's your morning?
Good. How are you doing?
Indeed. So Nsibuko.
Yes.
Nsibuko is a fintech, but what does it mean?
Well, it means heritage. It's actually adopted from a Luganda word that means heritage.
Why the name Nsibuko?
Well, it's because the motivation or inspiration for our business has a lot to do with rural communities, local people, smallholder farmers. We wanted something that could resonate with who we are and what our own personal experiences and stories are.
What is your pandemic story? How has the industry affected your work as Nsibuko?
Well, like many other businesses, we have had to switch to remote work.
Indeed.
So all our teams are now working remotely. It also has affected our customers. In Nsibuko, we work with savings groups and savings cooperatives, what you would otherwise call circles. And a lot of these entities have had to close down during the lockdown, and business has been generally slow. So it does have an effect on how we've been able to carry on with our business too.
Of course, when movement was at its lowest, transactions increased.
That's
Talk to us about those transactions and how they were actually embraced during the lockdown.
Well, I think for us, one of the things that really stood out during the lockdown was, the increase in the number of mobile transactions. So one of the services that we offer circles and savings groups is mobile banking services.
Mobile banking.
So we have integrations with the mobile payment systems, mobile money payment systems for MTN and Airtel. And we allow members of circles and savings groups to move funds using mobile money and to also fetch funds from their accounts using mobile money. And we saw an increase in the uptake of those services during the lockdown. So it wasn't a surprise, because during the lockdown people cannot physically access these services. So mobile did offer a really good option for them.
I mean, it was not all about embracing this fintech. They were already embracing the digital movement that was taking center stage during the pandemic. So it was easy for them to make the switch.
Yeah. So this is only a privilege for savings groups and circles that had already gone digital. And it's really important that I think that one of the things that the lockdown and COVID-19 has revealed to a lot of circles and savings groups is the need for them to go digital, right? It's no longer a privilege. It's not an option. It's something that we must do. If you belong to a circle, you belong to an investment club, or you belong to a savings group, it's important that you go digital, because when things like this happen, it makes it easy for you to still continue accessing the kinds of services that you typically would access from your circle through digital means. So yes, unfortunately for those that haven't gone digital yet, I'm sure that this is something that they haven't been able to benefit from.
Of course, June 18th we did call for this lockdown. July 1st we instituted new taxes that included 12% levy on our debt.
Yes.
Don't you think such policies suffocate such initiatives that go a long way in calling for digital inclusion?
They do. Honestly speaking, I wish it was entirely up to me to change that.
Indeed.
But we hope that someday things will get better.
Your voice has added to the chorus of many who are saying we should scrap this tax. Please go ahead.
Yes, I would say
that's good enough.
Yeah, I would say for sure that if we want to increase the adoption of digital solutions, especially mobile payments like mobile money, it's important that our tax policies are supportive of promoting the uptake of those kinds of services.
I also do understand that Nsubukọ is largely targeting the people within the rural settings. Why, and why not the people within the urban areas? Why do you go to the far-flung areas?
Because it's an underserved market.
And an underserved market with a poor internet penetration, but go ahead.
Yeah, the internet penetration is progressively getting better.
All right.
It's increasing. But it's a market that most market players don't really focus on, especially when you come to digital solutions. These are the kinds of markets that, people have some misconceptions about these kinds of markets. They think it's not a viable market. It's the kind of market where people are not willing to pay for products or services, let alone digital products and services. But we're trying to change that, and we've been able to validate that, if you're actually delivering a digital product that delivers value and people find valuable enough, then they're willing to pay for it, especially during this lockdown. And I think during COVID and also post-COVID, we will see an increase in the uptake of digital financial services, and we'll see an increase in the appetite for rural communities to pay for these kinds of products and services.
So when you talk to these rural dwellers who are actually saving with your platform, what are some of the challenges they divulge to you?
Before COVID or?
Before COVID, during COVID,
well,
what are some of their challenges?
The biggest challenge really is that, when you think savings groups and SACCOs, you're thinking, traditional groups, people that, keep their records on paper and, transact mostly in cash. I was reading in the news recently a story of an elderly couple, I think in northern Uganda, who had saved about 1.6 million shillings, and they're saving it in a lockbox somewhere in their house. And then, when they opened the box, they had found that rats had actually eaten some of the money. And a lot of people were sharing that story with me on WhatsApp and saying, these kinds of people need your kind of solution. I think that overall, this is a big challenge overall, for these kinds of saving schemes. Reliance on paper and reliance on cash makes it difficult for them to be efficient, to be attractive to other kinds of service providers, including banks, and also makes it difficult for them to be bankable. And this is what we're trying to solve at Nsubukọ.
Well, of course, according to the Federation of Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises, over 21% of the SMEs were actually tapping into their savings to make ends meet during this just concluded COVID-19 lockdown. Now, you, as that platform that tries to monitor the transactions, now we want to know, were these saving schemes actually withdrawing more of this money that had been saved, or are they remitting more money to be saved during the pandemic? Did you notice that desperation of people trying to remove money from these circles to be able to put it somewhere else, or maybe to be able to handle household expenses?
Yeah, I was just looking at the numbers yesterday, and so right before, the month before the lockdown, we had about 8 billion. The value of withdrawals was, just about 8 billion shillings through our platform. And just when the lockdown started, it shot up to 26 billion.
Woo! Yeah. From 8 to 26.
Yeah, so I think,
And this is money that is not going to go into investment, but rather people trying to make ends meet.
It's mostly consumption, to take care of, expenses. And also I think that, there's just a lot of uncertainties, with the lockdown. You're not really sure what's going to happen. And you're not sure where you're keeping your money.
Indeed.
So the urge, for you to pull out your cash and keep it at home, or invest it in, in other essential things, I think that urge is always high around that time. But I think that with digital platforms generally, we shouldn't be seeing those kinds of trends.
Indeed.
We need to build a system that people can trust and people can rely on. And we need to have mechanisms that allows people to actually invest more, use digital platforms to keep their money in places that are secure, and that helps that money grow in some way or format.
And of course, you're affected the most when they withdraw this money and they're not saving it with you. How do you get impacted by that situation or trend?
It impacts our customers, the SACCOs and savings groups, because typically SACCOs and savings groups, they are collective savings schemes. So they lend money from the pool of funds that
Yes.
people save with them. So when people take out more money,
They can't
then
lend it.
they have less to lend. We actually did notice that, you know, the amount of loans that were going out through our platform
Yes, Jared.
significantly dropped during the lockdown period. And I think we will notice, you know, an increasing drop, a progressive drop in the number of loans that are going out through the platform over the next couple of months.
Of course, Jared, that is a callous development. It means Ugandans are not saving, but are rather using the savings to make ends meet. The ramifications of that, using your savings instead of investing them.
Well, you know, the problem is that, especially when you think in the context of savings groups.
Yes.
Because, you know, credit is a big enabler for economic activities
Indeed.
in rural areas. When you talk agriculture or small businesses, when people take out money from savings groups, it means that the savings groups don't have enough to lend to people that actually are in the productive sector. And you know, the impact of that is going to, you know, we are going to notice a drop in production, drop in general household incomes, because households rely on the incomes that small businesses make
Yes,
in
yeah.
rural areas. So we will generally notice a significant drop in general household incomes. We will notice a significant drop in production because the rural farmer cannot be able to borrow from the SACCO.
Yes.
And as you know, a lot of these guys really are not eligible for bank loans. So, you know, I think
That's why they save among
the real
themselves.
impact will be noticeable a few months from now. It's going to bite really hard.
Why are they not eligible for bank loans? What reasons do they give you?
Well, I think it's not a secret. You know, a lot of us know that, you know, when you talk rural people, rural customers,
Yes. Collateral and so forth.
collateral, credit history, you know, for you to borrow, you need to have a financial card, you
Poor
need to have some
credit
kind of
rating,
credit
yes.
history, and you need to have real collateral. What kind of credit profile do you have?
Ability to pay back.
Yeah, and when you think about these people, where do they keep their money? They keep their money in savings groups. If that savings group isn't digitized, it means they have no, you know, reliable financial history. And, you know, there's nothing the bank is going to rely on. But we're changing that right now. We're starting collaborations with financial institutions. We have a new collaboration with the Uganda Development Bank now to provide digital loans to smallholder farmers that are part of savings schemes, relying entirely on the digital, the financial records that we have about them on our platform.
Gerard Tim, do you only handle the issue whereby you just keep the money for these circles, or do you also expedite financial literacy where you go to these circles or smallholder farmers who are in agriculture and so forth and try to train them on financial inclusion or financial services on how best they can handle their money?
We have a lot of collaborations,
Nice.
you know, with other people that are providing those kinds of services. You know, we work closely.
So it's not just keeping their money,
Yeah, we
but
work
teaching
closely
them
with
how
a lot of
to use it.
Yeah, we work closely with a lot of, you know, local partners,
Nice.
NGO partners, financial institutions that we collaborate with, and they provide all kinds of services, including capacity building and financial literacy training for these groups.
The viewer who is watching Morning at NTV would like to know how you have circumnavigated this COVID-19 lockdown that was just elapsed, and the pandemic itself. How has your business transformed itself to actually serve your audience?
I think there's been a much bigger focus for us to go digital.
Indeed.
So, you know, a lot of our marketing and promotion now is going digital. We can no longer, you know, travel to the field as we used to.
Yes.
So, you know, we're also providing alternative ways for our customers to reach us digitally. And that's really what we're doing at the moment.
What are you working on as a result of the effects of the pandemic?
We're building, like I just mentioned a few minutes ago, we are building a digital loan for savings groups, smallholder farmers in savings groups. We're doing this in partnership with Uganda Development Bank, the United Nations Capital Development Fund, and the
Nice.
FAO, the United Nations
Food and Agriculture
Organization. So the idea is to pilot this digital loan with about 2,000 savings groups over the next 24 months. We hope that, you know, this will help bridge some of the capital gaps that we have with savings groups, and that it will also build a case for why other financial institutions should do the same.
How will these saving groups be able to access these funds?
It will all be digital. We hope to deliver it mostly using mobile money. So we're trying to build a product with MTN, particularly at the moment, to enable, digital savings and digital loans for these groups.
What do they need to register?
Well, they need to be on the platform. That's
in Simoko.
Yes, they need to be on the platform, and they can reach us in all different ways. They can, we're on Facebook, we are on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and they can find us through all those platforms, or they can visit our website.
Star 165 #.
So to access the service currently, if you're a SACCO member and you need to use our mobile money service, and your SACCO is registered on our platform, you can access it from MTN or Airtel star 165 or star 185. And under financial services on each of those platforms, there's a SACCO menu. And as a SACCO member, you can deposit, withdraw, apply for a loan, or repay your loans using mobile money on any of those platforms.
Well, of course, you do have some 30 million subscribers on mobile money, but guess what? Only 19 million are active. In the villages, how rife is the spread of mobile money?
I would say it's significantly low. I wouldn't be able to pick out specific numbers, but there have been deliberate efforts right now with MTN and Airtel to increase the uptake and adoption of mobile money services in rural areas. We have certain collaborations with both of these telco companies right now. We're doing certain kind of pilots and experiments in northern Uganda and West Nile, promoting the uptake of mobile money services generally. So we're doing this through a network of what we call community agents, where we are working through community agents to help small businesses and small service groups adopt digital payments. And MTN and Airtel are supporting this process.